This conference will now be recorded.
Hi, this is City Manager Kevin Dorn, talking to you again today to update you on where we are as a city as we all deal together with the implications of the COVID-19 virus. I wanted to reassure, as I have in the past, that all vital or essential community services are being provided. Our police, our fire, ambulance, water quality are all fully staffed and working as they always do on your behalf. Also, the Champlain Water District continues to provide safe, clean, reliable water services for all residents in the city who are on public water, which is virtually all of you. I did want to talk a little bit today about other services. You know, we have vital services that I just addressed, but then we have important services. And those services are going to change a little bit from prior years by how and when we're able to deliver them. We currently have 43 members of our team deemed non-essential. I still think they're very important, but deemed non-essential who are on furlough. Some of these folks are on complete furlough, meaning a full 40-hour week is furloughed right now, and they're working with the state labor department to receive unemployment benefits and the federal supplement to that. A lot of our employees who are on furlough are still working part-time. Under this new program set up by the state, employees can still work part-time up to 35 hours, but then be partially furloughed and receive the benefits from the state and federal government for the remainder. So all in all, that's 43 of our employees who are somewhere on that scale. Other employees are working full-time from home, still being able to complete their jobs and still being productive and still connecting with their managers to make sure that they have work plans that are appropriate. The services that are normally provided by the city for things like public works, potholes, paving, line striping on streets and crosswalks, mowing, these are services that are important, but are not essential. Now, we are always mindful of safety. So where we have crosswalk striping issues and it's a matter of safety, we are going to take care of those. Or if we have a very serious pothole, we're going to make sure that that gets filled. But expectations of the same type of service provision that we might have had in years where we had full staffs are not going to be able to be met. And there's a reason for that, and we're asking you to help us with it. We're expecting almost or up to $1 million shortfall in revenues, mostly from our local option tax. For this fiscal year that ends on June 30th. That's fiscal year 2020. To meet our budgetary needs and avoid a deficit, we are trimming back on spending, on hiring, and on non-essential services. So we institute a hiring freeze very early on in the process. We've instituted a spending freeze. We now have employees on furlough where we're sharing the cost of their employment with the state and federal government. But we still are looking at ways to reduce our spending to meet the deficit that we expect to come and make sure that we are end the year in the black. Next year is a little bit more of a problem. We expect our revenues to be down considerably more, perhaps as much as $2 million or more. That's why doing things like furloughing, like avoiding expenditures for things that are discretionary, and I'll talk about those in a minute, and doing the other things we're doing now will pay dividends to the taxpayer longer term. Next year, in fiscal year 21, which begins on July 1, we have called for a freeze in our capital spending. So things that are covered in capital spending include our purchase of fleet vehicles. So police cars, trucks for public service, other things at the fire department and the ambulance teams. Paving comes underneath that heading, and other categories of spending that we can defer until a year later, or until such time as we determine that the revenue shortfall that we're predicting didn't actually occur as badly as we had thought it would. So paving comes to mind as something that is always on the mind of the public. We will be cutting our paving budget substantially, but we are going to try to finish paving on Dorset Street from where it is, the prior paving stopped at Market Street to down to Healthy Living. Try to improve that corridor and perhaps even make some improvements on a more narrow basis south of that as you head out of the middle of the city. But we do have to defer some paving of roads and streets in our community that need it and are on the list for this year, but we're just not going to be able to spend that money in recognition of the budgetary constraints that we have. We don't want to end up having to increase costs to our taxpayers when we start fiscal year 22 by raising taxes extraordinarily. And so we're taking these measures now to try to stave that off. Also hoping, as we all are, that the impact of the coronavirus will subside soon, that our businesses will begin to reopen, that our residents will be able to go back to work, and we'll get beyond this. But we're being very cautious right now with the taxpayer dollar. And so this summer, if you see some things that have not been done by the city that you think should have been done, let us know about those, but understand that we're going to be operating on a smaller team throughout much of the summer, and we will be cutting back on some of our discretionary spending. So if you have concerns about that, please let me know. My email is on the city's website, kdorn@sburl.com, or call me at 846-4107 and we can discuss these matters. But I did want to start to talk to you about having realistic expectations for a lot of our services. Again, I want to emphasize, our police, our fire, our ambulance, our water quality, and our clean water services are all operating at their normal operating level and will continue to do that. But where we can save some money by deferring projects or work until a later date, we're going to have to do that. And I hope that you will be flexible and patient with us as you see these things throughout the summer. We are soon going to be making some decisions about our summer events. I know that SoBu Night Out has become an extremely well-attended and anticipated series of Thursday nights in South Burlington with great bands and great food and neighbors coming together. It is starting to look now like the state will not allow large gatherings of this nature to occur. We will be getting more information out to you as we learn more about this, but right now, if I had to guess, I would guess that we will have to cancel our plans for these events this summer. I know other communities are looking at the same thing for their 4th of July parades and festivities and other things, and they're all now moving toward canceling those events. There's one other thing I wanted to talk about that we get a lot of questions about, and that is the citywide reappraisal. As many of you know, the city is going through a reappraisal process required by the state because of our grand list valuations have fallen behind what market rates are. And so we're required to do these reappraisals from time to time. We're in the middle of one now. There are generally 3 phases. The first phase is to go out to properties and actually examine them. Second phase is to do data entry, take all that information that's been gathered by the visits and put it into a database. And the third is then the data analysis section, where valuations are actually determined on a property by property basis. We continue to do this project. It has been moved, however, from data gathering to data entry. We do not have team members out in the field examining properties at this time. What they are doing is entering all the data that they've gotten to date, and then we will be looking to return them to the field when conditions permit and the governor's executive order permits. So just to answer that question, the reappraisal is still going on. We don't expect final results for the reappraisal until well into 2021, if not beyond. And so it's not an imminent issue, but I just wanted to let people know who've been asking us questions about that. Beyond that, I want to let you know that all of our team members, all of our employees, your employees, are asymptomatic for COVID-19. We do have one who has been tested, and we're very hopeful that that individual will not have the virus. Beyond that, everybody is healthy and asymptomatic, and we hope to keep it that way. I want to thank all of you as residents of this community for what you've done. You've taken the governor's executive orders and the health department guidance on social distancing, on wearing masks in public, on doing the things that you need to do to keep yourself and your families and your neighbors safe. These are hard times for everybody. Everybody is tired of having to socially separate from friends and family. It's caused a great deal of hardship for people who've lost their jobs and who hope that our economy returns so that they can return to work. And so I want to thank you for everything you're doing to keep South Burlington safe, to listen to the governor and abide by our experts' recommendations. We will get through this. We are getting through it. Things are starting to open up again, but we need to continue to be careful, and we need to be able to think about our neighbors and our families and making sure they're safe. With that, I will thank you, and I will say goodbye. It's a sunny day out today when I'm doing this recording. I hope you can get out and enjoy it a little bit by staying safe. Thank you very much.